All right, so I went to the bank earlier today after work to invest, right? So I drove on over there, local bank, quick 5 minute drive away, and I start talking to like the personal banker, my personal
Yeah.
banker, about investing, going over the options, and then he says, "Here, I need your driver's license so we can verify your ID." And I give it over to him, and he's just looking down at my driver's license for
Yeah.
like maybe like 30 seconds, and then he looks back. He looks up at me, right, and then looks back down at the driver's license, and he like hands it back to me. It turns out like, it expired on the 29th of December, so it's been
What's
like
today?
2 months. It's March 9th.
March 9th.
So I've been driving around with an expired license for like 2 months. Um,
Jeez.
and here's the thing. So like I was thinking of like what sort of uh, investment I want to put in, like mutual funds, like TDs, like comfort balanced growth, like comfort balanced
Yeah.
aggressive. And here's my thing. I think this is a sign that if I went 2 months without getting pulled over, even though I've never been pulled over anyway,
Mm-hmm.
that means I should just put all my money into the most aggressive,
You've
high
got high
risk
risk
mutual funds.
tolerance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh huh.
Oh my God.
But now, like,
What
okay,
happens?
so
Oh,
I'm supposed to watch a movie, right? With she here later today,
okay.
and
Yeah.
the entire thing is, I would have been perfectly fine of driving, like an hour ago when I didn't know my driver's license expired. But now that I know it's expired, like the stress level is so much higher about
Mm-hmm.
driving, and I'm like, oh, I can't drive. But I don't know. Like it's just one more day, right?
Well, not to get too technical about it, you can just apply for a new one and like have like the piece of paper or the email linked to
Yeah,
you.
like
Just you're fine. It takes
yeah,
like
it's like I'm gonna drive down just to the service Canada like tomorrow to like get it.
yeah, yeah. To go
But
see friend of the show Shahir.
he
Which
hasn't been on the
show?
show.
No, everyone's a friend of the show. Welcome back to episode 21 of the Mostly Mediocre podcast. Today we're going to go through Yash's personal finances. Which mutual fund is best for him given his risk reward tolerance?
Uh,
We're going to talk about fees, estate planning, taxes.
what I'm saving for? Do I want a house in 3 to 5 years?
You're not going to have a house in 3 to 5 years.
I don't know. Like they're saying, like, what do you want to like invest for? And people are like, oh, some people go for a house, and I'm like, I don't want a house in like 5 years, man. Like, I'm barely a
Yeah.
person. So
um, I don't think I've been to a bank in like last time I went to a bank with a purpose was like 2020 when I was picking up a credit card.
you used to work at a bank though.
But I never even
It
like went
wasn't
in
like a
there because
bank.
it was a
It was
bank.
virtual.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, I worked like for the bank, but I didn't do like retail banking.
Mm-hmm.
And I never stepped foot in the building to work. So,
Mm-hmm.
but speaking of banking, you saving up for anything?
Um, not really,
I just did
honestly.
my taxes and I got
Uh-huh.
a pretty sizable return.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to think what I should if I should splurge on anything.
Buy a jet ski.
I would I don't have access to like the water.
You could buy a really
Or
nice mural for your wall.
don't
You know.
murals aren't they like made on walls? When I have to like get someone in here to like make it,
So I meant to say painting, and I said
isn't that how it
mural, but
works?
I like
Oh,
the like I really do like if you just get a mural, you have someone come in. But I'm trying to
yeah, I
think.
was thinking like I I flip flop on this a lot because I don't know. I think they're stupid, like the VR headset,
Oh,
because
dude,
they
no.
cost so much money. But they seem cool, but I also like seem like they'd be fun for like 5 minutes, and then
Uh
you're like,
huh.
I don't want to do this anymore.
You see nuts. It's I. There's really like nothing. I don't say there's nothing going on, but like, what the fuck do you want to do? Like, they got like
I
VR
could
four,
work
and
in the
that's it.
metaverse.
The metaverse. Oh, bro. Bro, not the metaverse.
I could work in the metaverse. You can save up for a meta home, and I can work. I can do my meta commute because I think that the goal you gotta have this sort of it's gotta be like real life. So you gotta take the meta subway. You gotta do all these things. You gotta buy your meta lunch for 20 meta bucks at the meta food court. You gotta eat that. Back to work on your meta job at your meta office, right?
Yeah.
But you're in the metaverse.
So what if I commit meta suicide, like in the middle of the
If
meta
you
office?
That's against the terms of service.
Oh, okay. All right. You
There's
know
no
what?
there's
If that's all they need to do to like solve like the mental health and like suicide crisis, honestly,
mhm,
I think we should put everything in the metaverse.
pretty much. It's like the Matrix, but if you couldn't kill yourself.
Now, okay, it's not necessarily meta. This is all my neurons firing, finding the randomest shit to think of. But do you see
Yeah.
like the news like Elon Musk drama
Oh, when
where he was
he
harassing like the person with
this
disability?
disabled employee.
But okay, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Uh, the problem with it, I'm trying to find his name. So he's mocking this dude, and turns out if he just searched his name, he would have known how like how fucked up it was he's doing it. It turned he's like a national. He was like person of the year in Iceland, like last year or something. Like
He was
everyone in
deported.
Iceland
This
loves him.
employee. Oh
Yeah.
my
So
god.
it turns out he worked for like a design agency, and they're required by Twitter. And
Yeah. Oh,
when
Figma, right?
yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was Figma. Yeah.
Was
So
it Figma? Yeah.
so he sold the company to Twitter, and when they're talking about when like he was gonna get taxed, so how he wanted it to get paid, it's like wages or like whatever for the payout. He chose
Yeah.
wages, which he's willingly getting taxed higher, and he said the reason why is he believes in the Icelandic like social and like health services, and he believes that like allowing the taxes to go to the government is he thinks is best because he himself benefited from so much as a person with disability, right? So that's one
Ah,
thing. But then turns out he also like runs like initiatives to build ramps all across Iceland to improve accessibility and all this random
oh,
shit, right?
yeah.
So I just think it's really funny that like the guy who he found he also has like 250K followers. He followed a he's Twitter bought his company. Like you think he just knows him, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just very
Well,
surreal.
I think it's funny. There's also like 100 people left at Twitter.
Uh
Like,
huh.
you think you'd like know who they are?
uh huh.
I guess they have like, do they have an office? Didn't they like stop paying rent
They
on their
did,
offices?
but
I don't know.
I don't know. I just find like if you find it like the guy's name's Hallie. His Twitter's like I am Heralder. It's just
Yeah.
it's just really surreal because first you see Musk trying to like goad him into breaking confidentiality, and then like
Hmm.
uh I, the funniest thing is like he's making fun of like so I'm not very well spoken today, but the entire thing is well, it's just grounds for like a lawsuit because he's quite clearly making it known that this person's fired because of their disability, and it just gets worse and worse. And it had the same energy as you don't like Donald Trump was like doing all those tweets in like 2018 at the height of it, and he'd be saying like the most out of pocket
Yeah.
shit, and then there's like a 180 flip where like he just like goes back on it and like rolls everything back, and you can just tell
Yeah.
that's when like his lawyers or his like aides finally got a handle off on his phone. Musk had like that exact same like 180 flip, and I don't know, is it's just weird. You can just see it for
I
someone.
think it's crazy how much one person can use Twitter, but
Mhm.
also be like it's his own metaverse.
Uh-huh.
It's it, it's where he lives.
The-
He's like some kind of like goblin who just like if you imagine Twitter is like a kind of like a, a land or country, he kind of just like goes around and just like harasses people.
Mhm. But the other thing about it, that the most out of pocket shit wasn't even him like harassing this like person of disability at his company. It was at the very end. He said something along the lines of he had like a quick call with Hallie and got all the details, and he said it's such a wonder like how much like something like face to face communication if someone does over tweeting, and it just seemed after everything he did on Twitter like right before this and how he spends like 18 hours a day on the platform. I don't know. It was just really funny to me.
Yeah, he kind of sucks. What would you do if you had $1 billion? You know what I'd do?
What?
Get on Twitter, harass people.
Call them independently wealthy or
They didn't mean.
say that they're not independently wealthy.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Uh,
Wasn't it like in parentheses, who is independently wealthy, by the
yeah,
way?
yeah. When
That's such a
he's
good
wealthy because he made the company and not because he was given an emerald
meme.
mine.
Yeah. Mm,
But at the end, I think they also said like, "Oh, Hallie is considering staying at Twitter." At the very very end, I don't know, but that I guess that's enough for Elon. Unless you have
enough
anything
of
else to
that
add.
Elon guy. I don't think I do. I think he's I think he's gonna have a big glow up though because he's taken that special diabetes medication that makes you lose weight.
They should
Have
really
you
say
heard of
like
this?
juice.
No, no, there's like this diabetes medicine and a side effect is that it like causes like a lot like weight loss, right? And so all these celebrities are like taking this diabetes medication so the supply is like shot out for people who have diabetes as like weight loss medication.
Mm-hmm.
And so all these celebrities have like this magic weight loss because they're taking diabetes medication.
That's good. I
I
like
think
that.
he's taking it too. So he's gonna like his big because you saw him last summer, right?
Yeah,
When he
he's
was
got a
like
dumpty.
all on that boat and like he was so distended that like his like stomach was out past his rib cage and like oh my god. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He had like he was built, he's built like a tree trunk. Now we're gonna see him, he's gonna be like, he's gonna be like hot as hell.
Gangly even. What if he turns,
Mm.
like a Christian Bale in like the Machinist,
Oh yeah.
where he looks ghoulish?
Yeah.
That's gonna be Musk next. It's all or nothing.
Would you yeah, would you rather have super skinny Musk? Maybe he'll go back to like that old picture when he worked at like PayPal where he's like balding. He just like stops caring.
Mm-hmm. It's just over for him.
Yeah. Maybe you'll have more kids.
More kids he won't see.
More kids you won't see.
So, trying the other stuff. The reason I was
Take your
asking the
take your
last
notes
time
there.
we spoke was because I was
Yeah.
going to give an update. So I don't remember if we talked about this. I don't know when the last time we recorded it was. It was last week, right? The last podcast episode? Because we've never
It
missed
was
a week.
actually October. October 2022. Ooh.
So I want you to guess what like the final count for movies that I watched in last year was. All 2022. Final
Okay.
count.
We're gonna start with a baseline. It's at least one,
At
and I
least
think it's
one.
less than 365. Less than 365.
Uh huh.
I think you watched in 2022 200 movies.
Okay.
It's like one every other day,
Okay.
at
I
least.
watched 379.
Why did you watch 379 movies? What?
My mental health
And
is
what was your
thriving.
favorite?
Uh,
300.
Maybe.
That's like over more than one a day. And
Yeah,
were
I
there
had
any
like a.
days you didn't watch a movie?
I watched two movies in September, and there's like a couple months where like I Discord relaunched.
What?
There's a couple months where like I only watched like a few movies, but
What do you mean?
so
There were months you watched like
because okay, so when the school term ended, I was supposed to start working with employment social development, right?
yeah.
And they are like, "Oh, we're doing a background check," and it took like 2 months before I actually started working there. So for
Hmm.
May and June, I'm like I don't have work because they've like reply bombed me. So I just watched like 100 movies in May, and then I was like, I just watched a ton of movies in June, and when I'm like 200 something in, so I was like, it'd be really funny if I somehow managed to like watch 365. But
100 movies and that's like 3 a day.
mm-hmm.
That's crazy. What was your favorite?
So favorite new movie would I watched Before Sunrise, and man, that is a good movie. Just a good
Before
movie.
Sunrise?
Yeah, Richard
Did you
Linklater.
ever did you watch About Time?
I did. That's the time travel one, right? Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah, I
watched that
watched
one.
that a few days ago. Cried like a baby.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Me and Monty, we had an arc where both of us watched a shit ton of rom coms. That was the
Oh,
summer,
I
rom
love a
com
rom
summer.
com. I love a rom com. Yeah.
Uh
What was your favorite rom com? Love Actually.
let me actually see. Love Ashley. I probably not. For some reason, I kind of fuck with the Big Sick. I don't know if it's my favorite,
Okay.
but I did like that one.
That's like a true story, you know?
Uh huh.
That's
Which
like
made it
his
like,
story.
yeah, Kumail's.
Yeah. But he didn't get his wife in there. He got some actress.
Mm-hmm. Real fucked
He hates
up.
his, he hates because he hates his wife.
Wife bad.
Um, I watched the last movie I watched. I think well, it was about time. I also watched The Banshees of Inisherin.
Great movie. Great movie.
That was a great movie. I thought it was so cool, and it made me want to like connect with my own Irish heritage.
Uh
And
huh.
so, which I don't
Don't
really.
get near a mailbox.
Well, I was like looking at like I was trying to think of decor, and I was looking at old IRA posters.
So can I
I
should get
was
you
like
one.
looking at like Irish Republican like nationalist posters. I was like, oh, I'm interested by that. You know, like I have
Mm-hmm.
any connection to like Irish Republicanism.
Mm-hmm.
I wish a card carrying member of Sinn Féin. Um, but so I ordered a DNA test, and I
Mm-hmm.
spit in that tube and I sent it off to Ireland. Isn't that serendipitous that they do it in Ireland?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like sending myself back to my home. I'm going home, you know.
Going home. Country roads.
Yep, going back to Dublin, Belfast, Cork. That's all I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I'm just going through
Um,
letterbox. You should make a letterbox account. I don't know if I told you to
I think
yet.
I have one. I just don't ever fill it out because I'm like, oh, actually, no. Last week I saw Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania.
I'm watching that
What a
tonight.
what a I won't say too much. What a film though.
Uh-huh.
I think
It
it's
is
gonna
the most
win.
movie of all time.
I think it's gonna win the Oscar.
Hmm.
I mean, the performances,
See,
like
the thing is, it could be
I don't
dog
know
shit,
Shakespeare.
but it'll probably be fine because part of the reason I watch so many movies is that I watch like good movies here and there. I watch entire
Yeah,
like franchises, and then I watch like shit movies on purpose. I watched a shit ton of video game movies as well. Like I've seen Bottom of the Barrel. Do you know what I watched yesterday?
What
yesterday
was your
I
yeah? What'd you watch?
I've never watched Fast and Furious, but I was on like the website I was watching the movies on, and there's like on the like recommended they had the Fast and the
Hmm.
Fierce. I saw it. I had to watch it.
Which
There
one's
were no
that?
cars in it. It's not Fast
What's
and
the
Furious. It's a ripoff movie. It's a B movie. The Fast and the
what?
Fierce. It
Oh,
took
so,
place in a
oh,
plane. But there's a
was
car on the poster. But there's a sequel that I watched after that called Fast and Furious Death Race. DMX was in it.
yeah. DMX is in Fast and the Furious. Isn't Death Race a franchise
Death Race?
already? You heard of
I
Death
think
Race?
so.
It was like in a
Uh
movie, then it was like remade. It's basically just like it's like that. It's like cars, and they're in a race to somewhere.
oh,
They have to like kill each other. I don't know. It's like that.
it's Paul W.S. Anderson.
Hmm.
I I hate that Paul W.S. Anderson is probably gonna be if I watch Death Race, which now I kind of have to since you brought it up. He'll be
Hmm.
my most watched director this year, and it's not even close.
What?
Last year, it was the guy who made like the Sharknado movies because I watched those, and I watched another movie by him called Zombie Tidal Wave.
What
Whatever you
are you
think that movie's
talking about?
about, that's what it's about. So I watched
The
like all
zombie
the
tidal wave?
Sharknadoes, yeah, and then I
Yeah.
watched that after. But
I
now
used to
I
love
watched all the
watching.
Resident Evil movies, and I'll watch. I don't know. I think
Yeah.
Paul W. S. Anderson scares me.
There are a few franchises out there in general that I have like no idea what they're about.
Mm-hmm.
Resident Evil is one of them. I think there's like it's Raccoon City and there's zombies, but the zombies are like weird. Silent Hill, I have no idea what it's about except it's foggy. Final Fantasy, I have no fucking clue what that franchise is about.
Okay,
There's
JRPG.
like,
That's all out of nowhere. They're all separate games here and there.
but like, why is it a franchise then? Why is it? Why it's like Final Fantasy like 1 through 9? They remake them every year. Like, what's it?
So
Like, and then there's like Kingdom Hearts, which is like Mickey Mouse is a wizard, but
that's
it's like related to Final Fantasy.
that's like the
You know,
multiverse thing, I think. So Final Fantasy,
but
it's just JRPG, but then also they share like like blue magic, black magic, that sort of thing. They share like some of the same like units. Like they got
yeah,
chocobos, the birds, and like these like weird cactus things.
but don't they have like guns in Final Fantasy?
Depends on which Final Fantasy, I think. I don't know, man. It's weird.
I just it occupies no space in my mind, but it's also like I have no idea what it's about.
I get that. I mean,
Yeah.
here's the thing. All pretty much all those franchises. I watched a movie from them in the last year.
There's a
I
Final Fantasy movie?
Yeah. So there's one that they made for the most recent game, Kingsglaive. I saw that years ago. I haven't rewatched it. It was like decent. It was all
Yeah.
animated, but there's this one really bad one that's notoriously bad. Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within. That was a fever dream.
Hmm.
I I genuinely couldn't tell you what that's about because it's apparently not even based on a Final Fantasy game, but it's in the future and there's aliens that steal energy from living things. I don't know. It was
Oh,
weird.
did you ever watch Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah. Here's the take that'll probably get my movie liking card taken away. As a kid, I actually
Yeah.
genuinely liked that movie.
Well, as a kid, you like lots of movies, you
Yeah.
know. I've actually never
Oh
seen
fuck, I
anything
lied.
Dragon Ball related.
Sorry, I
You
lied.
lied.
My favorite movie I saw last year was Everything Everywhere, and then The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Oh, that was a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah.
final movie thing. Now I want you to guess how many have I seen this year so far?
Okay. Well, it's
My mental health
two
may be
months, six
worse,
days,
but who knows?
and you've been working full time since like since January,
Yeah.
or okay, so you've had a job. You've watched. It's been 2 months. I want to say 60 movies. That seems like a lot though. 60. That's like one a day. You sent an image. I can't see this. 166? How? When?
But I'm just like after work. There's also been times where like
That's.
I ask for more work at work and they don't give it to me. So I'll just have
Do
a
you watch
movie on in the
movies
back. I don't.
during the day?
I don't. But there's like a couple times where I do because like I hate to say sometimes they just don't give me enough work. I ask for it though. Well, it's not that they don't give me enough work. It's just that like
Yeah.
my brain goes at like 2,000 miles per hour, so I just have it going on while I'm doing work. Like,
Do
okay,
you need
here's the
to
thing:
watch
if
like
it's
a
a really,
little?
it's like a podcast. You listen to podcasts when you do work, right? I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
So
I do. Yeah.
instead of podcasts, which can be good for like professional development, even while I'm like cooking or like I'm like doing some like basic work stuff at work, like I'm just like filling documents out. I just put a really shitty
Yeah.
movie on in the background.
You should just play the audio with like described video. Then it's like a real podcast.
I mean, I have like my another monitor that I just put it on.
You should
But
just no
here's the thing:
sound subtitles on.
subtitles only. I'll like have one eye at like the work I'm doing, and then one eye at like the screen. But yeah, no.
You're gonna like turn in your reports and stuff, and they're gonna have like quotes from the movie in them. You
They're
just get like typed
like,
inadvertently.
what the fuck is this?
It's like in
But
summary, are you feeling lucky, punk? Well, do ya? It's like, wait a minute.
mm-hmm,
I know that. I know that quote.
mm-hmm.
That's a lot of movies. And like, do you enjoy these movies?
Now,
Is this fun?
is it bad if I couldn't tell you?
Oh my god.
Like, there's some I'll
if I
watch
if
that
I,
I like. I've watched a lot of Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Do I like him? Not really. I
oh,
watched
I
Diary
love
of a
Dwayne the
Wimpy
Rock
Kid.
Johnson.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies, cock and ball torture to watch.
The new one?
No, I watched the old ones, the trilogy.
Those are great. First one's
Well,
awesome.
okay, like
I don't know. I haven't seen it
it
in like
wasn't
10
the
years.
worst thing I've seen, but it was also like actively painful to just see him as a person. That's what I mean. But
Oh
like,
yeah. Well, they
there's
made like an animated one.
I've watched bad movies. I've watched good bad movies. I watched something called The Velocipaster.
Oh, I've heard of that one.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
It was genuinely I had fun watching it.
Isn't that
But
the
I've
one where there's like the scene of like the car exploding, but it just says like insert car exploding here.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is it that one? Yeah.
Like I was watching it, I'm like, bro,
Okay.
this is so shit. Like it's trying so hard to be funny, and then the next scene, they had like two people talking, and they had like their like disembodied heads like on either side, just unnecessarily like talking, as if we're facing them, and it was just so unnecessary.
Oh,
I can't describe the shot,
okay.
but
If we so we're let's imagine that we're directors.
mm-hmm,
We're directing our feature film. Okay.
mm-hmm,
So we got to brainstorm what the movie's about. We gotta have the first 60 pages first.
mm-hmm,
All right. We'll go back and forth. Okay. I'll give the setting. Okay. The
mm-hmm.
moon. We're on the moon. You
Okay.
tell me what's going on the moon.
Now I've watched a lot of moon movies, so I'm set here.
Okay.
Um, the moon is haunted.
Moon's haunted.
Moon's
Okay.
haunted.
Who's haunting the moon?
Uh, I'm thinking maybe the ghost of Bush.
Which bush?
You know, we can make it like all the past like U.S. presidents are haunting the moon.
Okay, I like that.
Should I have yeah, all the past U.S.
Okay, so
presidents.
all the dead presidents are haunting the moon.
Uh-huh.
Kennedy's there. He's like, I said by the end of the century,
He's not there. He's
we'll get
he's not
abandoned
dead.
moon.
He's not dead. QAnon said so. Q said so.
No, not Bobby, not Robert Kennedy. We're talking about Johnny Kennedy.
I thought they did for both Kennedys.
No, they think
Didn't they
like
go to the grassy
the
knoll
the
as
the
well?
sun the sun is dead. The sun's not dead. Like the Kennedy who died in a plane crash isn't dead. That one.
Oh, okay, yeah, it was a son, JFK Jr.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're talking about
I just don't know why I
Johnny's on the
thought.
moon.
I was like, why? Are they,
No.
I just thought they're by like the grassy knoll. I'm like, man, that if these things though. Howard Keller did a good
Also,
job,
wouldn't
but
he be like? He'd be like. He was born in like 1920.
I didn't question it.
He'd be 100 years old. Okay. Moon's haunted by the U.S. presidents. Who's our protagonist?
He's just called the
I
protagonist.
think. I think we should get Tilda Swinton.
Tilda Swinton.
Yeah, she's like bald. Well, she's not bald, but she's like really pale.
She's like a vampire.
She'd be perfect in the moon.
Hmm.
And who's the co-star? Who's the comedic relief?
So, comedic relief. That's hard because I was gonna say I have a couple good choices. So, Robert Pattinson, he's a good actor, right? But he's just been showing up in a
Yeah,
ton of movies. So, the I was considering him, but I think I want to go with Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling.
All
He could
right,
be
should we do
funny too. We
ensemble?
we need a new like literally me movie. Barbie's coming up, but what if you can say like that's me? I went haunted by ghosts on the moon.
What do you mean that's me? Who would say that? Ryan
That's like
Gosling would say
that's
that?
no, that's like the bit because like all of like
Oh,
people like at the
it's the
fan.
new literally me.
Yeah,
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 like from
yeah,
Drive. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, so he's broody, he's moody, and he's on the
Uh,
moon. Okay.
uh,
Okay, good. All right. Moon's haunted. Dead presidents. Um, and who's our antagonist?
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. is
Oh, you meant like
um,
actual, not like the okay. Good question.
like you think in real life Robert Downey Jr. is the antagonist?
No, no.
Is that what
I
you're
thought you were
saying? What do you
asking. I
mean?
thought you were asking the actor who'd play the antagonist, not the actual antagonist. And we could
Yeah, well,
do
that's fine. We could do
RDJ.
Robert. Yeah. RDJ.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Uh, okay, okay. And what's the
And
budget? Are we
if they
actually
could,
going to
if
the
they could
moon?
fake the moon landing in like '60s, in counting for inflation, that amount of money could get us to the moon.
Fair
I'm a
enough.
bit of an economist. Like I said, I went to the bank earlier today. I know the value of money.
Speaking of this, I've been getting this ad on Instagram a lot, and all it says is "Moon's haunted." Like this is real. Um, like that's the caption, and it's like a video game about
Pretty
the
sure
moon
that
being
I'm pretty sure that
haunted.
is a thing for Destiny. That might
The
be my
moon's haunted in
review.
Destiny too.
Yeah, in
Oh my
Destiny 2,
god!
the moon is haunted.
Well, it's like this new game coming out. I actually want to buy it. It looks like just the two words "moon's haunted"
Uh
has
huh.
got me like in such a fervor. Like I want to know why the moon's haunted.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I could. I've been. I have too many hours in it. I can. You can find out. Moon haunted. There's
In
a pyramid
Destiny,
on the moon. Yeah, there's a pyramid. That's why it's
there's a
haunted.
pyramid on the moon.
Yeah, a giant
Does a
black
pyramid
pyramid.
die there? Pyramids on Earth. Earth's not haunted, is it? Oh, um,
Let me show you. There's the moon's haunted. There's a giant pyramid on the moon. If
Moon
this is
concert.
Destiny that you're talking about, that's weird because.
I'm not talking about Destiny. I'm talking
I
about
know.
this
I know.
new
That's the
game
saying. Oh, sorry, Discord
called
keeps
Moon
like
Mystery.
relaunching. Ignore that thing I just sent you
Um,
there.
holy Moon is haunted.
Yeah.
I just don't think they faked the moon landing. You
You
know?
mean you don't think they
Why
did?
would they? Why would they fake the moon landing?
It'd be a good bit.
Like, imagine,
Because here's the
like, they,
theory, right? They're trying to get to the moon. They have the space race with the Soviet Union, right? But they also have the Cold War going on. Sure, there's like, oh, prestige.
yeah.
We're the first people to get on the moon. But what would be the best way to undermine their military capacity? That's to make them waste all their money on like their space program. When you could like do the bare minimum, get satellites up there, not care about the moon, and just pump that shit into like ICBMs.
Oh my god, that's
Isn't that
actually really
credible?
convincing. That's
Yeah.
pretty credible.
Uh huh.
But why would the
Do we need a
Soviets,
second
wouldn't,
conspiracy theory podcast? It's
this,
coming to you soon.
maybe they didn't go to the moon.
Have you ever been
You know,
there?
they haven't been there since like 1972. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But why would they stop trying to go to the moon? Just because someone else got there first, you're like, oh, well, I guess we lost.
Well,
Go to the moon.
actually, according to the movie Apollo 18,
Oh, that's a great
there,
movie. Spiders on the moon.
yeah, weird spider things that look like rocks.
That was a scary movie. Maybe that's why I'm scared of spiders.
You know what the real reason is? Transformers.
Dark Side of the Moon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
If here's the thing, what would you be scared of more on
another
the moon?
great movie.
A giant robot or rock spiders?
Probably rock spiders,
Yeah, honestly,
to be honest.
it's maybe the entire moon's a giant rock spider.
That'd be really scary.
They have moonfall, like something where like the moon just isn't the moon. I think that's really cool.
I think there's like, well, there's real theories that the moon is a hologram.
This was this hologram.
No, when I say real theories, I want to qualify that by saying they're conspiracy theories.
A real
But there's
conspiracy
real
theory.
conspiracy theories that the moon is one of a few things. One, it's a spaceship
Mm-hmm.
that's hollow. I think it's other one. It's a projection. I don't know. I think they say like there's no evidence of the moon in history or something. It's
No,
something
that's a
crazy like that
bit. That's
where
I
it's like
can't
you
get behind
can't
that one.
find history of the moon. Um, I think they, or it's like the moon was replaced recently.
You know what?
It's like
I fuck with
one
that
of
one.
those.
The moon being
They
replaced is
replaced the
sick.
moon. It's like bigger or smaller or something. I think that was it. And no way. Oh, and then there's Nazis on the moon. You see that movie? Ironfall?
Ironfall?
It was called. Oh my god.
Oh,
It
that's
was
the
it was like this it
list.
was like this movie where there's like Nazis on the moon and they like come back to Earth to do Nazi terrible stuff. Iron Sky, it was called.
Yeah, because Ironfall didn't exist.
Oh
Oh
my
yeah.
god. And there's like a
Oh,
sequel
2012?
where yeah,
Oh,
and there's a
fuck.
sequel where there's Nazis inside the Earth, in the hollow Earth.
Iron Sky, the coming race. There's dinosaurs in this one.
Yeah, because they're inside. They're in like Orab- uh, Hyperborea or something like that.
Yeah, I'll add this to the list. I was
Yeah.
finishing up 80 for Brady, but I'll watch that after this
We're
after.
watching 80 for Brady?
Yeah.
What?
Like I said, just look at my letterbox diary, and it's like the most
That's insane.
stupid shit.
Have you seen, and this is a great movie, King Kong versus Godzilla?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I
Oh,
was
like two
watching
years
the
ago. Yeah.
monster. I was watching the MonsterVerse movies.
Okay, this movie's insane because it starts out and like King Kong has been like he's like living he's in a cage. He's in some crazy cage that he's like angry about because it looks like the real world but it's a cage. It's got
He
like
throws like
LED
the
panels.
spear at it.
Yeah, he throws a spear. And then like he they make him like fight Godzilla because there's like another creature or something.
Yeah, so
It's
this is the
another like
weirdest, most unhinged shit I've seen. Like, there is another creature. It's not a creature, it's a giant robot, Godzilla.
but no, there's
So,
like something else going on in the
no.
movie, right?
So, in the previous movie, Godzilla King of Monsters, King Ghidorah came out of, like,
Oh yeah.
Antarctica, and King Ghidorah
Yeah.
died. But at the end of the movie,
Yeah.
the Tywin Lannister takes, like, King Ghidorah's, like, bones or something from like
Yep.
like scavengers. And what happens is they take King Ghidorah's skull or whatever, and they're using that like for some reason they need like some sort of material from it to
Oh yeah,
make
his like
the robot.
brain is in there. Yeah.
But it's not his brain; it's like his bones.
But it's like it's still King Ghidorah. He's like now he's the robot. That's right. That was insane.
Like I
And then they
think
got
like the
like and then
concept
King
could be
Kong.
cool because it's like because King Ghidorah's they're saying that he's an alien, right?
Yeah.
But I can't suspend my disbelief that much.
But the best part of this movie is that like the earth is hollow and like the way that Godzilla gets around is by going into these underground tunnels and there's a whole different world under there and that's also where King Kong is from and he goes down there somehow and he gets like his special axe
Axe, yeah, yeah. The special
from like
axe.
this like kingdom that is like his.
Uh huh.
It's and they're just like, oh yeah, Earth's hollow.
You know what the coolest thing
They
about that
like,
movie is, though? The
yeah.
actual coolest thing. So King Godzilla, spoiler, almost dies. So they set off a nuke to power him up, and that's
Oh,
somehow.
that's
And you think that like it's like what the fuck?
yeah.
But here's the thing:
What?
I see giant monster and
Spectacle.
all the neurons fire. It's still cool, but
Love a giant monster.
uh huh,
Oh my god. It's like
unhinged.
Pacific Rim. Are those movies?
Yeah, Pacific Rim, great movie.
What, what would you do? I mean, like maybe there's something to it where it's like, but if the giant monsters were just like destroying cities all the time, like, wouldn't you just leave? Wouldn't you move? They come out of the ocean, right?
Yeah, I'm assuming some people move might be an economic issue. There's also the thing that
Oh.
it, depending on like the monsters' corpses, there'd be an economy, but that in all the movies they never really show that like there being a tangible benefit
Yeah.
to taking care of the monsters. Pacific Rim does do that to an extent, but yeah, I do get you. Like, why are you here?
Maybe there's something to be said about our own world though with climate change. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's all just a metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
All good movies are metaphors, like
Shin
Snowpiercer.
Godzilla is Shin Godzilla.
Godzilla's a metaphor.
So the original Godzilla was a metaphor for the atomic bomb, right?
Oh,
Shin Godzilla, which came out in 2015, I read about this in a in a paper. I managed to talk about Godzilla. So in after the Tohoku earthquake in 2011 and subsequent meltdown of Fukushima, uh,
yeah.
that was very. Some say that was very very bad. So
Some did say that.
so uh, after that, there's like a lot of like controversy over like how public officials were complicit in letting it happen and like their inadequacy in face of like a disaster of that magnitude. So Shin
Yeah.
Godzilla is like a commentary on that and just pokes fun at the
Oh,
politicians and shit.
very
It's a
interesting.
far more intelligent movie than you think for a Godzilla movie.
Is it a live action
It's
movie?
live action. It's live action. They
And
have
it's
like
Japanese.
yeah, like they have a ton of scenes where
I might
there's just
watch that. That
unnecessary
sounds good.
meetings. Yeah, I've meant to watch it for a long time, but
Oh, you
there's
haven't
so
seen this movie?
no, no. I mean, I wrote about it for a paper. Like
It's
I
all
saw
about
I saw parts of it, but I haven't like seen the full movie. Like
it's just
the
me
parts
explaining The Shining.
and explaining movies I haven't seen, but
Just
yeah,
books I haven't
it's
read, songs I
it's
haven't listened to.
it's like I've seen part of it, but I haven't seen like all of it. If that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like I couldn't tell you what happens at the end, but I remember like the middle where like the politicians are just like in random ass meetings. I just don't remember anything
Hmm.
else.
Yeah, movie I want to see actually came out recently. Troll.
Oh
Did you ever
yeah, I
see the
saw that.
original Troll Hunter?
So that's the found footage type one, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't seen that, but I did watch Troll.
My that so Troll Hunter is a great movie because one of the plot points is that the trolls can smell your religion. Uh, so if you're they don't like Christians, and so if you're Christian, they'll get you. And they start the movie and like this troll hunter, he's like sweet, he's like, "Are any of you Catholics?" And they're like, "No, no." And the girl's like, "Well, I'm Muslim. Is that bad?" And he's like, "I'm not sure. I'm not sure." And they go all these trolls and stuff. At the
Uh,
very end of the movie, this dude, the cameraman, is like starts praying. He's like, "Father, Son, Holy Spirit," and the troll hunter's like, "No, stop it," because they can like smell your religion or something. They can smell the Catholicism, and
uh,
they bum rush this dude because he's been like he's like praying, and they get him. They like tear him apart. So funny.
I've been putting that off. I'll have to watch that.
No, it's a really good movie. Kind of scary because they're like they're like, but I think it's another point where like trolls turn to stone. It's kind of like the Hobbit, I think, when they're exposed to light or
Hmm.
something. So like this guy has like this crazy setup on his car that like all these lights turn on and they like solidify and like crystallize the fucking trolls.
It's out of
I wonder if
pocket.
there's a message in there about the trolls, but maybe not. Maybe it's just about trolls.
I'm trying to think of weird movies now. Like, okay, I'm like looking through this, and there's like the bad movies. Something like the. Have you seen Pitch Black, Riddick? The first Riddick
You
movie.
know, I've never seen a Riddick movie.
It is so fucking weird. So one, Vin Diesel
Can
is
you?
creepy as shit. The first Riddick movie, most of it's him
Yeah.
just like perched up on some random area staring at people. That's him.
So in the first one, he's like a prisoner, and he like they crash land on a planet, and they're like hunting him, or what's the deal?
So he's a prisoner, he's a convict, and he's being transported to another planet. And the
Hmm.
ship also has like other like civilians and stuff. So it
Yeah.
crash lands, and only I think the only like, there only said one compartment which Riddick was in as well, and he escapes. But what happens is some people start disappearing. People are like, "What's going on?" Like when they're like near holes.
Yeah.
The actual plot is that there's all these aliens
Yeah.
on the planet, but they are only in dark places like tunnels, stuff like that.
Okay. It's
So
like on a night though.
yeah, so first it's like
Can
people.
he can and if I'm right, his thing is he can see in the dark.
I'll get to that, but at first, like the people were just like inside of a building. It was like geological testing center, so they had drills, right? So like some kid
Yeah.
gets absolutely eviscerated, and they're like,
Oh
"Oh, this is
man,
not good," and they find out, oh, they hide in the
this is
dark.
not good.
But then they find out that there's this like astronomical event which is like a super eclipse that
Yeah.
night. So
What
it's
the
the
fuck?
dark, and they thought Riddick was killing them. So they get Riddick, and they finally like convince him to help. And when Riddick was in jail, he got this surgery that lets him see better in the dark because the jail he went in is pitch black. So they just do the surgery, and his eyes like
Uh,
glitter and glow, right?
can he see in the light? He wears those goggles, right?
Yeah, he wears the goggles.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure might have seen it without them. I don't know. That's the first Riddick movie, right?
Yeah, that's
All the
pitch black.
all
Yeah.
the thing is he can see in the dark. Now, if you continue to watch the Riddick movies, there's a fourth one coming out. What the fuck? Sorry.
Vin Diesel's busy.
So that's the it starts there, but the moment you hit the next movie, the stakes and the scale just explodes. Turns out Riddick ends up becoming part of like this super powered like alien like humanoid race, and
Yeah.
in the second movie he's humanity's champion that's stopping the world from like annihilation,
Okay.
and he becomes the head of like this like super alien empire of
Yeah.
like the strongest like beings. It's just very weird seeing from like just some prisoner you can see in the dark
Yeah.
to like the leader of the world's biggest like military universe's biggest military empire.
That's like it's like Cars, the Cars movies, where the first one's like Lightning McQueen. He's like learning to drive again in this little backcountry town, and like movie he ends, he races, and he wins. Right?
Hmm.
Cars 2, there's like a plot, like an international plot to like kill people, to kill cars and like sell this fuel or something and control people. Then Cars 3, it's like wait, back to racing.
That's what they did here too. Cause okay, the Riddick 2 came out in 2004, right? Then they're
Yeah.
like, we're gonna make another Riddick, which apparently because everyone's like, who the fuck is watching this? Apparently Vin Diesel personally funds this or something. It's like his pet project. But
Yeah.
they're
He's
like, oh,
one character.
what happens is you have a series where in the second movie he becomes like the leader of the world's most like powerful empire. So in the third movie he just gets betrayed and left for dead. So he just loses his entire empire, and it's like the same shit again. Whereas this time he's being chased by like bounty hunters, but then
Yeah.
he also returns back to his home planet of Furia to save it from destruction again. I don't know, man. It's a fever dream. I've just watched a lot of fever dream movies, but
Yeah.
I Pitch Black. It was a shit movie. It was fun to watch with friends because also it's like the weirdest shit. He can just see in the dark. My review is he's like a great Batman because he's just there brooding, staring at people, creepy as shit. I wouldn't let him near my children. All I'm gonna say, I would not let
You
Riddick near
wouldn't
my
let
children.
no way. Would you let Dom from Fast and the Furious near your children?
I've never seen those movies,
Just
but I
on
have
vibes
seen The
though.
Fast and the Fierce.
Were there like analogous characters in the Fast and the Furious?
From what I
Like was there a
gather,
tall bald dude?
not at all.
No, it was just it's like Snakes on a Plane, Snakes on a
I watched
Train.
that. I
That was
watched
the
Snakes
B
on a
movie.
Plane.
Yeah. Do you watch
I'll have
Snakes
to
on a
watch.
Train?
I saw that in like similar movies. I haven't seen that though. I watch
Yeah.
bad movies. Sometimes I wonder, like, should I do this? And sometimes I
Should
make the right
you
choice.
watch?
The bad ones. I don't
I
know.
find it so tough to pick movies. I can't commit to it, you know?
I get that. Like, I always put off the movies I know I'll enjoy the most off for so long. Like, I put off watching The Good, the Bad,
Mm.
and the Ugly for so long. I finally watched it. It's like three and a half hours long. It was so good.
I just want to see The Whale. The Whale is what I want to see with Brendan Fraser.
Uh, it was good.
That's what I want to see.
The
I
one
love Brendan Fraser. The Mummy, Inkheart, come on.
Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Encino, Journey to Center, Encino Man, come on.
So I didn't like Dwayne the Rock Johnson, though I'm forcing myself to watch all his movies right now. But the entire reason I didn't like him was because when I was younger, I took offense to the fact that they rebooted Journey to the Center of the Earth and didn't bring Brendan Fraser back. And
Oh yeah, I
since
heard
then,
about that.
I fucking hated Dwayne the Rock Johnson, just because of that. You're really gonna do my man
Because
Brendan wrong?
yeah, he did the peck thing too. But that one was like that was like the Mysterious Island, right? The second
I,
one, Jules
I
Verne.
I think so, but it was still enough for me to be like, mm-mm.
Yeah. No, I get that. I get that.
It's like,
You know, it's just so tough to watch all these movies.
yeah.
I'm watching all. Yeah, it's like, and yeah, I watch the shows too. It's like, oh, so many shows out now.
Oh, I can do
Right?
movies. I can't do shows.
You don't watch shows.
I feel like it's like I'm watching The Last of Us,
I
but I
love a
don't.
good show. I like shows because they're so bite sized.
I like movies because they can be bite sized. Because it's like it's a lot, but it's a lot at once. So it's not as long.
Yeah,
I don't know.
like over time. Yeah,
But yeah, it's
that's
like
fair.
it's hard though because even though I like movies, like I haven't watched Stalker. I meant to watch that, but it's super long. Most of the movies I want to watch right now are foreign movies, but that's also such a big investment. The one I've been looking forward to for probably the longest. There's Pulse, which is this one J horror movie that is supposed to be
Yeah.
really good, like one of the best J horror movies. And there's another one by some weird dude named Sion Sono called Love Exposure. It is 4 hours long.
Oh my god. Why would you do that to yourself?
It's apparently really
Four
good.
hours
Really weird,
of
but really
movies?
good. Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
like I
god.
don't know. I mean, there's an 18-hour long movie, which some people say is fucking amazing, but I could not watch it. It might be my brain. They had like the trailer, and the trailer was also just really long. It's just like them going down like a road.
Why not just like make it a series then, or like multiple films? What do I know about movies? What
Yeah, I
do I
mean,
know?
Love Exposure's 89th best movie on Letterboxd, so has to be something.
What's Love Actually? Check Love Actually. You can say 64.
Love Actually is not on the list.
Oh,
They only show like the
that's
top 250.
it's not even. It didn't even make 250.
No, I'll have to add Love
Bunch of
Actually to my watch list.
film
I will.
nerds
I
not gonna
will
watch
say
a good
this
movie.
though. I do want you to guess the
Hmm.
plot of Love Exposure though. The plot just sold me on this because it seemed. I just want you to guess. It's called Love Exposure. It's a Japanese.
Something. Maybe it's like there's like pheromones. People they get pheromones, they fall in love, but it goes awry. Maybe that's it. Maybe they swap their hearts.
The story of a teenage boy named Yu who falls for Yoko, a girl he runs into while working as an upskirt photographer in an offshoot of the porn industry. His attempts to woo her are
What?
complicated by a spot of cross dressing, which convinces Yoko that she is lesbian. Dalliances with kung fu and
Oh,
crime, and a constant struggle with the guilt that's a legacy of his Catholic upbringing.
oh,
I don't know. I
that's a
could
lot
not.
of stuff going on.
That's a lot of stuff, and it kind of it got me curious. I don't know, dude. You're telling me
I
you're
like
not
how they say
sold?
working as an upskirt photographer, like it's a profession. What does that
I
mean?
mean,
Like he's getting
maybe there's an
benefits or
economy though. Like maybe there is like a big economy for it.
it's awful.
Yeah, it
He's getting
sucks.
like he's getting paychecks. He's like, oh, another day, another dollar.
Yeah,
It's
no,
terrible.
that is awful. I don't know. It's yeah,
And
that's
tonight you're
rough.
watching Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, after
I think
this,
the movie was too, and this is, do you know how long it is?
probably like 2.5 hours, man. I hate it.
It's only 2 hours,
Oh, thank fuck. But still, oh
which
god.
is surprising for like a Marvel movie, you know, because they all feel like they're going to be like hours and hours. It feels quick, if that makes sense.
Do you want me to tell you what the problem is? With the Marvel
What's
movies.
the problem? Yeah, what's the problem with Marvel movies?
They They're
Scorsese.
all setup movies. They don't stand on their
This
own.
one is a setup movie. This one is a very big setup movie.
They never stand up on their own. Everyone gives Scorsese shit, and I kind of gave him shit too. I'm like, man, chill, film bro looking ass. But he wrote like a New Yorker article talking more about it, and for him it was like he was talking about movies as a result of like the studio system, and how when
Yeah.
he and like other filmmakers when he started making movies, they're making these independent like high quality movies. It was in response to the studio system, which is pump out movies for profit,
Mm.
something like that. But for me, Marvel movies, it's like my favorite ones. I'll say I was a fan. I still watch them as they come out, right?
Oh yeah,
But
got
I
to.
haven't enjoyed them. Which,
It's
but
a little
like my
bit
favorite
sadistic,
one,
you
like
know.
it is. But I do these things to myself. Like my
What's
favorite
next?
one
Like
is probably like
self-flagellation?
I'll do it. I mean, remember when I tried to waterboard myself and it just didn't work?
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember that.
We should do it again, except you waterboard me.
I
When
waterboard
we do your
you.
housewarming, I'll bring
Housewarming.
you a IRA poster, and then you waterboard me.
Yeah, we'll do. We'll live stream it.
Mm-hmm. Face reveal.
When I'll wear a mask.
I would not want my face associated with this.
No, I wouldn't either. Um, you're saying Scorsese
Oh
is a shitty filmmaker? You're saying?
no, I'm not. It's just like he has
No.
a valid argument because it's like my favorite Marvel movie was Captain America and the Winter Soldier because it was
Oh
a
yeah.
spy movie that just happened to be in the Marvel universe or whatever. It was its own thing.
Yeah.
It was self-contained, but none of the movies actually focus on characters. It's all about like the next big thing, the payoff. Like
Yeah.
here's
That's
the thing,
true.
Avatar, it was cool, I guess, but I was
Avatar.
just okay on the new one, the new Avatar. Everyone's talking how
Oh, the
great it
new one.
is.
Yeah.
It was cool. I like watching it. I like seeing good VFX and water, but it also just felt like it was setting up more movies. And
It's setting up Avatar 3 through 7.
yeah, and it's man, I don't care. Just make one good independent movie. If you want to make sequels and stuff, that's fine. Like you can do sequels well, like Scream, for example. Scream something that shouldn't have a sequel, but it has sequels that are successful. But that's because
Yeah.
they're still their own story.
What about Halloween?
Mm.
How many more Halloweens are we gonna get?
Hot take. I honestly didn't really even like the original Halloween, and I like John
Wasn't the
Carpenter.
last Halloween supposed to be like the last Halloween? Halloween
Yeah,
ends. Hmm.
they can never let it end on a high note. Like it's a trend now to remake. They've had remakes so often, but like the soft reboots has been
Yeah.
like the trend right now, where it's not like a full reboot because the original movie's continuity still sort of exists,
Yeah.
and they bring back like the old legacy characters. Who's like, oh look at them, that's the person from Halloween. Uh,
Well, they're
like I
doing
like
another
the
Saw
2018 one.
movie. Oh
You,
yeah, Halloween.
yeah, I like
They're
that one.
doing more Saw. Yeah,
They
they
should do
did like another
Tremors.
Jeepers.
The only one
They
they
should
shouldn't
do
remake.
Tremors.
Like I want if they do, they should bring Kevin Bacon back. I think he talked like he wouldn't mind doing one more.
Well,
But
I think what's great about movies now is like, sure, they're like good movies, like 1980 whatever Dune, right? It's a good movie,
the
but like
1980,
just what you can do, it's fine. It's
it's
like it's the
fine.
whole movie.
Uh,
It's the whole book, so it's kind of
yeah,
condensed,
I watched it last week. I think.
but like having like the what you can do now with like the
Mm-hmm.
effects and the world building and the sound design and like what you can do now, like Dune 2022 is a great movie, or 20 whatever it came out. Like
2021.
that's an awesome movie, right?
Yeah, like I
Because
fucked
it's
up
like
because
so new.
I watched the new one and then I watched the old one, and I
Mm,
have the same thing because I thought the old one was good. It was great. I liked a lot of what they did. But after seeing like the new one, everything they did for like the sand dynamics, actually the sheer scale of the worm, even the sound
yeah,
design, it's just so refined to this point. where I don't think you can't do like a 1-to-1 comparison.
No, like the costumes, it's like everything, right? It's like
Uh-huh.
what you can do with that like material now versus fuck, like 40 years ago. Like it's
Hmm.
worlds apart, you know? And like some movies don't need like doesn't like old movies like that are contained in what they are. Like you don't there's not much more you can do, right? But like with
I
that movie, like with the scale of it, like Star Wars is great
I think
because it had
it
a
comes
lot of
down to
heart.
like if it's timeless. It's not even that it's hard, but if it's timeless. Like Jurassic Park will be a movie that's the original is probably something that's timeless
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's not really
I
said anything.
agree.
And it's not a 1-to-1 for this, but the new like Knives Out, for example, right? If we're talking about being timeless, it was good, but they like set it
Mm,
during COVID, which I get why they did it because that was what's happening around. They had to weave in why the movie ended up the way it is because of that. But that dates it. And the thing that I think was with Dune is it was really creative. Like when I watched it, the one thing that really struck me is how like creative the costume and everything were, even though they had their limitations.
yeah,
But the technology and everything's just aged, like you said. So it's
yeah.
not
Well,
doesn't feel
like the
as
blue
time.
eyes, the
Yeah.
filter they put on.
Oh, the
Yeah.
shields, the
Oh, the
Minecraft
shields
boxes.
are.
Oh,
Oh my god.
I feel.
I thought it was cool. The shields in the new Dune are like incredible.
Uh huh.
You know what? I did appreciate the old Harkonnen world though,
Oh
and
yeah.
how like that. I think they did a good job with that.
Mm-hmm.
The new one is just like because it's like this industrial wasteland. We didn't see much of the world, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like that, but like do new things, sure, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
But
They
I
also
don't
had
know.
good sound. The
Oh,
funny bit
great
for
sound.
me is if any movie has a good soundtrack or good sound, I'll love it. If there's
Mm.
leitmotifs, great.
Oh, like Tenet.
Well, I guess
You're a big
Dune.
Tenet.
I haven't rewatched it in a while, so
You should. Maybe you forgot by now what it's about.
I done 18 times, I think.
Yeah. Um, that's all I got.
That's all I got too. We
All right.
next time we do a podcast, we'll have one topic, so it's probably
We'll have.
hopefully
Well, this was like just movies, pretty much.
yeah,
There's a lot of movies.
too many.
Too many.
I hope I don't continue
All
watching
right.
movies.
You know, quit cold turkey. Maybe you'll watch shows instead. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Most Mediocre Podcast. Join us next time where we waterboard each other
Next week,
next week.
get plus or minus X
Bye.
amount of weeks. Bye.
Bye.